Hello and welcome to this kind of new format for the social M's. This is the first time we are doing this, but we will hopefully continue doing this. These are short videos and we will always tackle exactly one question from the social media, content marketing or blogging world and explain how to get things right. Today's topic is creating headlines that work. And we will start right now. So let me ask you a question first. Why should you care about your headlines? I mean, in the end, it's your content that counts, isn't it? It's the value and the information you share in your content. The problem is most of the people are only going to see your headlines. They're not going to see the actual body copy of your content if you don't have a headline that makes people click. So you should care and you should spend a lot of time and effort on creating the best headline you can. But what actually makes a perfect headline? That's actually a little different for social media than it is maybe for other media. But in social media, to really make content spread and really give you a lot of views and a lot of clicks, your headline has to achieve two things and not just one. It's not all about getting people to click on your content or the link that you share in social media. It's actually more a combination of getting shares and clicks, because only if you get shares, you can reach a larger audience, and if you can get clicks, you actually get traffic. So what you're really after is getting clicks and shares. But how can you really test how your headlines are actually doing? We recommend a tool called Buffer. Most of you probably know Buffer for scheduling content. But Buffer can do much more. It's actually a great tool for testing headlines, at least if you're using Twitter. You can simply tweet the same link with two different headlines. And most of the time, you will probably notice that one headline or tweet text gets a lot more clicks or shares or both than the other. And what you're after is the best headline you can come up with. And the best headline is a headline that gets clicks and shares. So use your tool, Buffer, schedule two tweets with different titles and check which one works better. You should know some things about headlines before you start creating the perfect headline. There are actually certain kinds of headlines that usually work really well in social media. And you will probably have seen a lot of these headlines because a lot of social media and content marketing specialists are using these types of headlines. That's lists. You've probably seen thousands and thousands of list posts. And the larger the number in the list, the more clicks and shares you usually get. Another type of headline that really works well are explanations, like how to do something, how to drive more traffic to your blog, how to make a perfect headline for your post. There are other headlines you can see here. You can promise to explain how to fulfill dreams. You can write the best or the worst of something. Everyone wants to know how not to be the worst at anything. Or something else that runs really well are predictions or trends or research, statistics. The reason for why research and statistics usually run well as in a headline, it's because numbers are really a power element of headlines. In a world where a lot of people make claims but don't give proof, numbers provide a certain element of trust. Statistics seemingly always tell the truth. So people like numbers. They're easy to understand. They provide some kind of proof, hopefully. So numbers are really powerful element of headlines. But there are more elements of headlines. There are actually words that make headlines work much better than if you leave these words out. It's words and phrases. It's actually, you should simply take a look at the words most of the best running headlines in social media contain and learn from that. Simply get an idea of what works well, and keep that in mind when you create your headline. Another really powerful element of headlines is actually surprise and curiosity. If you make your audience curious of what you're actually about, they're likely to click. They may not really share, but at least they will click and take a look at your content. So keep in mind that curiosity is really powerful. Don't give away all the information in the headline. Keep something which people only get if they actually click and view the content. Another thing you should really know about headlines is that the average reader doesn't really read long headlines. The reason is that we all get so many headlines every day. We get headlines in Facebook, on our mobile, on a news page we are visiting, on Twitter. We get so many headlines, we can't read all of them. So we just skim them. We read the first 3 words and the last 3 words. So if you aim for a headline of 6 words, you have the highest chance of people actually reading all of your headline. In social media, it's a little different. In different social networks, the optimal length of a headline in characters is a little different from network to network. On Facebook, it's rather short. On Twitter, it's about up to 100 characters. On LinkedIn, you can even use a little more words. So keep that in mind. But all of these numbers are not really long headlines. Another thing, if you are creating a headline, create a large number of headlines. Why should you do that? The reason is really simple. If you go for the first idea you have with your headline, it might be a good idea, but it might not be the best idea you could have. So by creating more headlines and really a large number of headlines, you have to keep thinking, have to keep being creative and change your line of thinking, come up with different thoughts about your headline. And you will be surprised how much great headlines you can come up with if you keep thinking, keep being creative, and really come up with 25 headlines. And that's exactly what companies like Upworthy do. And they live from the success of their headlines. So create 25 headlines for each of your pieces of content and choose 5 from them. Check which ones of these 5 work best and choose the best of these 5. That's actually a great process to come up with perfect headlines. Now, if you found a perfect headline, or you think you found a perfect headline, simply use a tool like CoSchedule Headline and an analytics tool and check your headline. You will be surprised what they can tell you. Most of the facts I told you in this short video, CoSchedule Headline Analyzer knows. So they know about power words. They know about optimal lengths of headlines. They know about powerful types of headlines like list posts. So they will tell you what your headline will probably, how well your headline will most likely work in social media. But what CoSchedule or other headline analyzers can do, they don't really know your audience. So if you think you know your audience better, simply check your headline with Buffer. So hopefully you have learned something from this short video and will be creating perfect headlines in the future. If you need, or if you are looking for more clicks and shares from social, then maybe you want to check out the Social Traffic Code. It's an ebook we created for you if you want to start a business, or if you simply want to learn how to generate traffic and leads from social media without spending a fortune on advertising. And you can get it for only $14.99. And you can get it at Gumroad. So check it out. Thank you. Hope you learned something from this